Take a look at an example. Let's try to look through these 1 to 5 and see if you can classify them into the different types that we just talked about. So what is units of production on routers used to cut wood enclosures? This will be variable. Remember, units of production, the more miles we're using the truck, the more cost incurred. So here, depreciation for this units of production is not straight line. It's considered a variable cost. Okay, now the materials used for this. Now this company is building innovative speakers for home, for theaters. Wood that they use is considered a material cost. So what is the idea of material cost? How is it classified into those three categories? Materials cost, think about job orders. If you have 3 job orders, is the material cost the same as 1 job order? This will be actually, we consider it as a variable cost, okay, because the different materials, you will have different prices, and also the idea is that the more job orders that comes in, you're accumulating based on the number of jobs. Process costing? Process costing, you still materials, as long as it's the actual physical parts of the products, then the more you need to produce for customers, the more you're accumulating. Process costing is just separating the way we assign costs into department-wise, not job order-wise. But how you add the total material you add up is the same. Okay? So, wood for speaker enclosures will be variable costs. The more you use, the more costs incurred. Patents on crossover relays. Now, patent is a fixed cost. If you innovate something new, you request for patents and the right to use this item or copyrights, these are all fixed costs. Okay, now here's another type of compensation. We talked about full-time employees having a fixed salary rate, but some of the salesperson, their salary will be determined on a fixed salary plus commission. So this is mixed because the more sales they're able to make, then the more money they're receiving. Okay, more salary they're accumulating. Now crossover relays, again, some of the devices that you use for your products, this will be considered variable. So as long as it's the thing that's a part of your final product. Remember, this is designing the theater, designing the systems. Material costs are all considered variable costs. It's the things that I believe connects to the theater systems. Okay, I'm not an expert in this area either. I also actually did a search myself. So it's basically the device you use in the theaters. Okay, now we have a few more. This will be obvious. This is number 6. Straight line depreciation, fixed. Okay, good. Grill cloth, variable, again, a type of materials that the system uses. Cell phone costs, mixed, we just talked about this. Mixed, cell phones. Remember cell phones we just talked about, it could have a fixed rate. Of course, if you're talking about some of the very special plans for travelers, then probably it's all variable costs. But for the general sense, you will have a fixed plan, and then the portion that goes beyond it then becomes variable costs. So it's a mixture of both. Glue, again, a type of indirect materials, is considered variable costs. Quality inspector's salary. The answer here is fixed. I wanted to point out that if this is a full-time employee, it's considered fixed. But if it's a part-time employee that you hire just for certain jobs, then of course the more number of jobs that you ask them to hire to inspect on, the more cost incurred. So this could be both. But in a general sense, if this problem is assuming it's a full-time employee, then it will be fixed. Yes? You go first.
Say those that work in a factory or something, use glue to assemble
Okay. Okay. That would be similar to the example of equipment rental cost. Every time you rent the equipment, it's $15. So you're talking about every time you purchase a box. So the variable rate is the same, but remember, it's related to the number of boxes that you use. So as long as it's related to a certain amount of activities, that will add up to the total cost, and it's considered a variable cost. So what is, again, fixed cost? The whole year you depreciate $200. Regardless of the boxes of glue that you purchase, you still have to depreciate $200. Okay? Yes? So that's why I said this one here, if it's fixed, it's assuming that it's a full-time employee. So usually if it's part-time, the problem will say part-time. If it's a part-time worker, a lot of times it's based on the number of hours they worked on a certain job. Then that would be the idea of variable cost because it's based upon the number of hours. Okay? Yeah? If that is like a fixed rate that is already set, it's not like they can decide upon how many hours. If they go beyond, if that contract is saying that if you go beyond this, we're not paying you more, then that would be a fixed cost. That basically is similar to a full-time employee's idea. Okay? So, but if it's going beyond, they don't know what is the expected number of hours for this job, and the more they are able to work on, the more you're being paid. So a lot of the work studies here. The more they work on a certain professor's project, the more they're getting paid. That is not a fixed salary, right? If they're able to spend more time on it, they're getting paid more, then that's considered a variable cost based upon the number of hours. Okay? So maybe it's a little confusing. Fixed cost is fixed in terms of the total amount. Okay, remember the total amount of fixed costs, earlier examples is $12,000. Variable cost goes up and down, but it does have the same rate that it goes up and down for, $15. So for every event you incur $15, every event you incur $15. This is the portion that is stable for a certain range, but remember this is accumulated based on number of events. This is not accumulated based on number of events. So think about the sales activities. If you ask yourself, based on the sales activities that happens, is this cost going to go up and down based upon that? If it's not going up and down, it's a fixed cost. Okay? The number of materials, the materials that you use, the more jobs that you've requested from customers, of course, the more materials that you will be requesting, so that's the type of variable cost. It goes up based on job orders. Okay?